Here's the Bedrock Battery Compact 48 volt 105 amp hour lithium conversion kit for the EZGO RXV that has the plastic battery tray frame, that RXV. As soon as you open your battery box, you'll see on the top this template right here. It's the exact form factor of your battery. Makes it a lot easier to decide where you want to mount it in your tray. And then of course you'll have your beautiful Bedrock battery here with terminal screws and terminal covers included. Everything else you see in this picture is going to be coming in a separate box. We've got our install manual right here, physical copy. We have RXV specific instructions that you'll want to read through in specific steps. Very helpful for the RXV install in there. Then you have your round state of charge meter with a 9-foot cord, which helps for 6 passenger carts as well. And your RXV already has the circular gauge mounted most likely, and so that makes cutting into the dash, if you even need to, a lot easier because it's the same shape. Our 48 volt 15 amp waterproof charger right here, along with some self-tapping screws, makes it a lot easier for the install. You also might find in that charger box the AC port plug. It may be separate, may come in the box. Make sure to check the box if you don't see it immediately. You also have here this adapter plate, this port plug adapter plate that will come in a separate baggie in your kit. That covers any gaps. The holes line up perfectly with your RXV. It looks really sharp when you add that adapter plate in. Then here are your 2 long bolts that are RXV specific in size, that are all you need to mount your battery to your RXV tray. You get to use your existing holes. It makes the install a lot easier. You don't have to drill into your battery tray to mount it. And then lastly, we have the you might need these box. We're not going to open it up. We'll let it be a surprise of some things that might reduce some trips to the hardware store and help you out. But definitely check on that before you start your install as well. One thing I do want to call out though that isn't going to be included in that box is this heat shrink ring terminal. You will need that for your reed switch wire that the RXV has for your cart to start. Saves you a trip to the hardware store.
Alright, when installing the Bedrock battery, the first thing I like to do is make sure it's in tow mode, remove all the lead acid batteries out. In this case, it's already been pre-removed. And then I like to go ahead and stage up everything of where everything's going to go. The Bedrock battery does have a nice handy dandy template there, so where you can size everything up to where it needs to go for the battery, so you can pre-stage everything first, which is what I like to do. Also too, you're going to be using these pre-existing holes in your RXV, so you want to make sure you line up the battery accordingly, as you're going to have bolts that you're going to use to tie it in, so there's no drilling. Other than that, I'm going to go ahead and start with the receptacle, and we'll go ahead and get started. When starting on this receptacle here, we do want to locate this reed switch wire first, and we're going to go ahead and remove this with this tab here, like so. And then we are going to use this blue wire here. This is a really important wire. We're going to add a ring terminal to it, which is in our bag of goodies there of things you might need. And that is going to tie to the terminal on the power side of the battery in this case here. So we're going to go ahead and keep this available here momentarily while we go ahead and remove this receptacle out. To remove the receptacle, you are going to go ahead and take out these Torx bit bolts here. Sometimes they could be rivets, so you may have to drill the rivets out in the hole, and then you're going to go ahead and replace it with our faceplate here, and then as well as put in the receptacle, and you'll go ahead and pull all of this out. One thing to note here, you don't have to take out these tabs if you have them. The screws that we're going to replace it with our faceplate is going to be long enough, so you don't have to do that whatsoever. So I'm just going to go ahead and line up the plate with the existing holes and go ahead and start putting that through there. And I'm just going to kind of place a couple down to make it a little easier for the plate to stay. And then I'll go ahead and add the nuts on the back. For installing the charger, just to note here as well, you're going to get self-tapping screws here. Now, if you are working with metal, for instance there in some RXV metal trays, you may want to pre-drill the holes before you put these screws in, but ideally you can just place them straight into the plastic. You don't have to use all 4 holes, just enough to get either side where it really ties down. So now that I've mounted the charger in here, I do want to make note, you do want to make sure that indicator light is visible. This will indicate whether the charger is charging the battery or whenever it's finished. A solid green light means that it's finished and been fully balanced, whereas a blinking green light means that it is actively charging. Alright, so I'm going to mount the 12 volt converter in the back here so that it is out of the way. It does provide some small self-tappers as well that I'm going to go ahead and pop in here as well. You don't need all 4, just as long as it's tied in on both sides, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Alright, so now that my converter has been mounted, I'm going to go ahead and work on this harness here, just to prep the orange wire specifically first. I'm going to go ahead and take off this cover for the controller and the solenoid here, so I can route that orange wire to the solenoid and get that all prepped and ready. So looking at this solenoid and controller here, again, this is a Danaher controller. This is going to be your solenoid. Now this side here that's routed down, this is going to be your main positive, or what they call your B positive connection. This is going to tie to the positive side of the battery. What we're really worried with here is going to be connecting our orange converter activation wire on this side, which is tied to the controller. All right, this is going to be where our activation side is going to be on the solenoid. So when the key switch is turned on, the solenoid is going to activate, which is going to power up your 12 volt converter. So looking at the harness here, you're going to have a set of wires. So you're going to have your yellow and blue, which are going to be your input, positive and negative. Yellow is going to the positive of the battery. The blue is going to be your negative to the battery. These are going to be your 12 volt lines, specifically for headlights or whatever it is. And then on a separate loom is going to be your control 1 line here. And this is going to be your activation wire. You're going to go ahead and tie that onto the solenoid here, okay? All right, so now that I have my activation wire on the controller side here, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the harness over off to the side. For right now, we'll deal with that a little later. Just to note, this is your positive B side, so this will go to your battery. Specifically, if you are doing 2-gauge cables, you'll replace this wire with your positive 2-gauge cable. And then on your controller side, you're going to take the negative, which is all the way down here, and you're going to go ahead and remove that negative main and replace it with your negative wire that's going to go to the negative side of your battery. I just kind of have it pulled and out of the way. Alright, so now that I have that activation wire for my converter hooked up, and if you were doing any kind of 2-gauge cable and that's all done, you can go ahead and put this motor controller cover plate back on here. Still make sure that it wasn't knocked into run. Make sure that it is still in tow mode here, and we'll go ahead and route up the gauge here to get that all done, and then lastly we'll go ahead and do the battery. Alright, to get access to the display and to route your cabling, you're going to want to take this rocker panel off on both sides here. You're going to use a Torx bit here to get all the main screws there to pull these off on both sides in order to pull this back. And then you may also too, if you do want to access more of the cabling back here, there's going to be some bottom screws down below here that you'll be able to take off here in order to pop this cup holder out and off. Alright, so once you have all the screws out here, you're just going to kind of wiggle it nice and easy, and it'll just come right off. And these are 2 parts there, so it is probably going to be a little dirty here, but now you're going to be able to pull this mat up and out so we can get access to the area to route the cable and wiring. If you do have a Danaher controller, there's going to be a plug down here. This is super important to have plugged back in, or else it won't run. But you do kind of just squeeze both sides and then just pull it up and out. If for whatever reason it's up in the dash, you may have to take these bolts off and pull it back down. But you do need to remove that in order to get that mat to pull back out. but this is super, super important to plug that back in if you have a Danaher controller. And also lastly, don't forget there's going to be 2 Christmas trees here by the pedal and sometimes on the sides as well. These were removed previously, but you do want to go ahead and pop those out before you pull the mat back. Before I go ahead and pull off this dash and run the cabling, I've already got this kind of lifted up so I can feed it through. I'm going to go ahead and take this dash off here. There's just going to be clips on the side, but it's really important as there's going to be 4 screws, 1 on each end and then 2 in the middle. So you'll see that. You'll want to take those out so that way you can pull this part back. All right, so now that I've pulled my dash back here, I'm just going to go ahead and make a circular hole cut up in the front here, so that way I can put my gauge. For most of you that have a Curtis controller or a PTB cart for an RXV, there's already going to be a gauge here that you'll remove that circular and it'll fit perfectly right in that hole. In this case, I'm going to have to create a hole because this is a fleet cart. One thing also too, you are going to have to pull up this cup holder in order to route the cabling if you are kind of routing it up and under, to make it a little easier to route that through to connect the gauge. But I'm just going to go ahead and make a circular hole here and pop in the gauge first. So now that I've made my hole here, as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and just place the gauge right in there, and it should fit pretty darn snug. It does come with a bracket as well, so if you do want to go ahead and tie it in nice and tight, you have a bracket here that'll just tie in and push against the plastic so that way it seeds nice and properly. And then we'll go ahead and hook up our wiring and then feed it down. All right, so now that I have the cup holder out, I've got all my wires accessible here, and I'm just going to kind of route them up and through. I will note that all these bolts here, those 4 bolts that I was talking about earlier for the top dash, that does hold your cowl in place there. So you may want to remove that as well if you don't want it like falling or anything like that. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and route my cables up and through and then connect it to the dash and put it all back together. All right, so once that's connected here and I routed it through that hole and then kind of weaved it through here, up through down, and kind of underneath here, and then up and underneath that groove and fed it through. I go ahead and just zip tie it just to make it a little cleaner and nicer, so that way it doesn't get pulled or jerked around later on if you're in the battery tray area. And then also too, just a side note, I personally like to feed it up and down and then through rather than feed it up. So it's just kind of personal preference, whatever you like. All right, so once everything's zip tied and hooked in here, I'm gonna go ahead and start with putting the cup holder back and then tying this in with the front cowl and then putting the mat back on, and then go ahead and put in the rocker panel and then the left and right rocker sides there. So that way it's all cleaned up here, and make sure to put the Christmas trees all back in as well. All right, so we're on the final stages here. I'm gonna go ahead and deal with this reed switch wire now. So I'm gonna follow it back because I don't really need this full length here. So I just kind of split it up on this harness here, but it is that blue wire. I'm probably gonna cut it about midway here, so I just don't have a lot of slack here to tie up to the positive side of the battery. I've kind of tucked away the display cable here that we did for the gauge. I'm going to go ahead and hook up our 12 volt converter and then harness here. And then I'm also going to pre-prep the charger here for the positive negative. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the battery in and tie it all together. Lastly here, I've kind of left this open, but I am going to go ahead and remove it. There is a bolt here down on that side. I know it's a little hard to see, that holds that in. I'm going to go ahead and remove that so that's out of the way as well. And we'll be all set. So in our bag of goodies here for things you may need, there is a reed switch terminal wire that is provided that you'll use when cutting that blue wire and putting this terminal on. This other part is for the converter. Because you have an RXV, you're not hooking up to the key switch, so this T-tap and T-splice connector are not needed for the male and female. And then this here is really for your 12 volt side. If you are hooking up lines going from one to the converter, this is a good way to bridge that gap there. But other than that, these 2 items are not needed. right, and that reed switch wire is good to go. All right, so I have the reed switch wire here that I've took off to the side. Same with the display wire. These are just out of the way temporarily to get the battery all situated. I went ahead and hooked up the harness here at the converter, and then kind of tucked all the wiring away here, which is not needed except for these wires here. So you're going to have the yellow and blue wire here for the positive and negative on the battery, and then this is just going to be for any kind of 12-volt accessory you have, or if you're going to run it around, or vice versa for any kind of lights, speakers, etc. All right, when placing the battery in, you do want to kind of just set it right in this groove. There's going to be some holes here that you will line up, and it's going to be in the middle where we're going to use a long bolt and washer to tie in. So this long bolt's going to go down, and the washer is going to go on the bottom along with your nut and your locking washer. Just a note here, the reason why we use these big washers are for the curvature. So it may not sit fully flush, but it is seated really tightly there due to the big washer being able to hold it in place and tack it down. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and hook up all my wires here. I'm just going to go ahead and hook up the negatives and the positives all together. Make sure the battery is off in this step, and you are still in tow mode there. But I am going to go ahead and take these out and then go ahead and hook up all my negatives and then my positives here. All right, and that's all hooked up here. I'm going to go ahead and flip it into run and turn the battery on, and you're all set. All right, so once everything is fully installed, you are going to go ahead and charge the battery all the way up to full and make sure it's balancing. I'm going to go ahead and plug it up to power here. You're going to hear the fan cut on here, and you're going to see a blinking light. And that's going to show that it is charging here. Once that is a solid green light, that means that it's charged all the way up to full and also balanced the cells. If you're looking at the gauge, you'll see that the gauge is on and it's charging the battery here. It can go all the way up to 15 amps as that's what the charger is meant for. And so once it hits up to 100%, you'll see this amp sometimes drop down to 3 to 5. That means it's still charging, but it's in its balancing phase. So you want to make sure that shows 0 amps and that green light is solid green before you unplug it.